Good morning, everyone. This is Manish from WSI ALM. Thanks for joining us today. We have a special edition of our webinar series, and today we're going to be covering the topic of adaptive SEO. As you recently know, WSI has launched the adaptive SEO methodology fairly recently, and it approved the first batch of adaptive SEO certified suppliers, and I'm very pleased to announce that WSI ALM is a part of the approved batch of adaptive SEO certified suppliers that's providing the service. So today's webinar is really aimed at giving all the ICs a good idea of what adaptive SEO is all about, because there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misconception about adaptive SEO. So we just wanted to clear the air, put out an official communication from WSI ALM, so as to give you a good idea of what adaptive SEO, the whole methodology is all about, and how this can potentially be pitched to the prospects, and how this can be beneficial for the WSIs. Terrific. So let's just dive right in as far as adaptive SEO is concerned. I'd like to start off by giving you a small story. This is a real story, in terms of an actual incident that did happen with one of our clients. So we had a client that we've been working with for a pretty long time. I'd say for the past 2-3 years, we've been doing great work for them. We'd be getting them great rankings, good increase in organic traffic across the board on a year-to-year basis. And they came to us about a year back and essentially mentioned that they did not want to continue with us. They were looking at, they were evaluating another proposal as compared to ours, and it just seemed to them that the other proposal was giving them a better bang for their buck than our proposal. They were getting a lot more links. They were getting a lot more deliverables, so to speak, when they looked at that competitor service as compared to ours. So we, looked at the service that the competitor was offering, and we gave our input. We just felt that there's too many links that the competitor was building, and the links were not from reputable places. So we gave our information piece to the client, but the client at the end of the day chose to go with this particular competitor of ours. So the client went with a competitor, and in 6 months they were back with us, and they had a really huge problem. The problem was that the work that the competitor had done had essentially blacklisted them from Google. They had manual link warnings in their Google Webmaster Tools console. Google had dropped their rankings across the board for all of their pages for their site. With us, they've been ranking quite healthy. They had about close to 80 keywords that were in the top 20 search pages of Google in the search positions. And when they came to us at the end of their stint with this competitor, they basically had 5 keywords that were ranking in the top 20 in Google. So a pretty severe penalty. So we had to basically then do the whole cleanup, do the link detox, do the complete analysis on what this competitor had done, and it's painstaking work, it's hard work getting Google's confidence back up again on a website. And as of right now, we have about 45 keywords that are now ranking in the top 20 for this client, and we're making progress back in again. Now, the issue that I want to highlight with this small story that I just mentioned to you is that SEO is crazy out there. SEO is kind of like how like how accounting is. I mean, every street corner you see an accounting firm. In a similar fashion, every Jimmy in their basement is doing SEO, providing SEO services. So there's a lot of confusion out there. There's companies that guarantee you hits, guarantee you rankings, guarantee you backlinks, have different policies and practices on meta tags, on the on-site optimization that they do. There's some agencies that knowingly engage in black hat tactics, which they know is essentially like a short-term gain for rankings, but is not good for the site in the long run. But that's what they're doing. So at the end of the day, it's the whole SEO landscape is really confusing, and Google's not helping either. This is a great infographic that actually gives you a screenshot of what happened between 2011 and 2013 in terms of the Google algorithm updates that took place. So between these 3 years, Google updated their algorithm almost 400 times. Now, these were consisting of major updates as well as minor updates. But altogether, Google updated the algorithm over 400 times, including the 3 major updates that took place during this time frame. You had the penguin update, you had the panda update, and then you had the hummingbird update. And just alone in 2013, word has it that there's about 400 plus minor updates that Google has done, just in 2013 alone. So Google's not helping the landscape, and it's getting ever confusing out there. So at the end of it, what you have is a small business owner or a business owner, small, medium, or large, and you have a very, very confused business owner because he's getting conflicting signals, he's getting conflicting messages across the board in the industry. You put 6 experts and you're getting 8 different opinions. So the business owners are really confused. They don't really know what to do. They have no idea what the right methodology is. They have no idea on what the right way to do SEO is. And it's with this landscape that the Home Office, WSI, decided to take an initiative in the SEO field just because they understood, they saw the landscape, and they felt the need for the WSICs to have a consolidated approach, a uniform methodology by which they could deliver SEO solutions to the end client. So the first meeting that took place for the Adaptive SEO Consortium was in the Excellence and Innovation Conference held in Toronto in 2013. And the word Adaptive SEO was coined. And basically you had a consortium that was established, and there was 4 essential components to this consortium. So on the one side you had the suppliers, so the current mix of suppliers that were providing services to the WSICs were a part of this consortium. Then you also had the ICs. So the ICs were represented by certain members so that their opinion was also taken into account through this consortium. You obviously had the participation of the Toronto Home Office. They took the lead as far as this whole consortium is concerned. And plus you had outside experts including Krista from G-Shift. Krista was chairing this whole consortium because a lot of her ideas have been incorporated into Adaptive SEO. So, and you can understand, I mean, this is the first time ever that you had all of the suppliers working cohesively together so as to come up with a uniform strategy for the ICs. I mean, these are suppliers that, including ourselves, we're competing for business, we're undercutting each other on price. So it was quite an exercise for us as well to sit across the board, in one room and to hear, to hear everybody's opinions, to hear what they had to say, and then go ahead, express your opinion, and at the end of the day, come up with this uniform strategy that was going to be implemented across the board. So a pretty intense exercise. So the consortium basically worked on the Adaptive SEO framework and the deliverables for a good part of 6 or 7 months. So there's a lot of thought process that's gone into this whole methodology of Adaptive SEO. Some of the challenges, some of the requirements that were in front of the consortium were as follows. So the first requirement for Adaptive SEO was to deliver a uniform strategy to the end client. Just because there's so many conflicting messages and signals that different consultants are sending out there to the prospects, WSI being a franchise, the whole idea is a uniform strategy, which is the reason why WSI wanted to put together a uniform strategy for SEO for the ICs that they could collectively put together and establish out there. It should align with the ever-changing SEO landscape. So this is one of the most important requirements for Adaptive SEO, and as the name suggests, it's adaptive. It actually adapts to the changing SEO landscape. And one of the ways in which the consortium is ensuring that Adaptive SEO does this is by meeting on a quarterly basis so that they can see how their deliverables align with how Google's changing the algorithm, if there's any tactics or techniques that are getting outdated or that are not Google friendly, and that's where the consortium makes decisions and changes things as far as the deliverables for the Adaptive SEO solution are concerned. It had to be a game changer for the ICs, both in terms of sales and revenue. Now, right now, when you have an IC that's pitching a solution to a prospect out there, you're on an average facing anywhere from 3 to 5 competitors for that particular business or that prospect. this is a challenge because what you're putting out there, when you're putting out traditional SEO, whether it be the local SEO, the foundational, the advanced SEO that WSI ALM offers, it's challenging for you to position yourself as being different. You, of course, have the WSI brand behind you, the Google partnership, what have you, that you can position to the prospects so as to make it a little different for you. But at the end of the day, the whole mannerism in which SEO is being positioned by you is pretty standardized. And that's essentially what the competitors are doing as well. So at the end of the day, the prospects faced with a decision where they're evaluating you on the same scale as the other competitors and their proposals. So the whole idea with adaptive SEO is to keep the ICs, arm the ICs with a solution that is really, really different. That's a game changer. When you're offering an adaptive SEO certified solution to a prospect and they're comparing your solution to the competitors, that's where, it's like comparing apples to oranges. You can position yourself differently so that adaptive SEO, your proposal, is so different, is radically different from what your competitors are offering, where the prospect's forced to look at your proposal independently, and for that matter, even justify a higher price that he's paying for adaptive SEO because of the methodology that's been used in this whole adaptive SEO process. The whole idea was also to position WSI as a global thought leader for SEO. Just like when you're thinking about inbound marketing, you think of HubSpot automatically. It's kind of like a phrase that really did not exist, and then HubSpot came into the picture and they started aggressively pushing inbound marketing, this whole phrase of inbound marketing out there, and that's how they got traction for their brand. To the extent where now when you think of inbound marketing, you think of HubSpot and their software. So in a similar fashion, what WSI wants to do is that it wants to own the term adaptive SEO. Push it out there, position it out there, and make it like an industry-leading term so that everybody understands what adaptive SEO is all about. And when you do think about adaptive SEO, you have WSI coming in the forefront for people's minds. It's like one uniform solution that's being put out there. We obviously wanted a solution that was solid, was results-oriented, and was Google-friendly. That's very important. We want to make sure that we're delivering a solution that's getting results for our clients. And these aren't short-term results. These are long-term, enduring results that a client can enjoy for a long time. Definitely white hat. And one of the core components of adaptive SEO is also the whole education aspect. Just like with HubSpot and inbound marketing, there's so much of education. There's so many content pieces that HubSpot puts out there, and that's again to position themselves as a thought leader. Adaptive SEO is all about education as well. It's not about quick short-term results. It's about long-term enduring results that the client can enjoy for a long time. And that's primarily because everything is done in a sort of a white hat manner, in a Google-friendly manner. So it's all about educating the prospect about what adaptive SEO is so that you can essentially position your proposal differently from the rest of the SEO competitors that are out there. And the client looks at you exclusively because you're in a separate bucket. Nobody else offers adaptive SEO. And that's how the client perceives you. That's how the prospect perceives you. All right? So these are kind of like the requirements that the consortium had in front of them when they were putting together deliverables for adaptive SEO. So finally, the consortium met, and as I mentioned, it was quite an exercise. WSI ALM was a part of the consortium as well, and we worked on it very closely with the rest of the consortium for about 6 or 7 months. And this is what we basically come up with as far as adaptive SEO is concerned. We've gotten certified. There's a whole process that was established by the Home Office that we had to go through in order to undergo certification. Even though we were a part of the consortium, we still had to get certified and prove ourselves so as to become a part of this, a part of a solution center, a production center offering adaptive SEO. So let's go through the definition of adaptive SEO. What is adaptive SEO? So the consortium has given the following definition for adaptive SEO, and I read, WSI Adaptive SEO is an approach to organic search strategies that is based on a proven methodology and a framework that's intended to ensure a web presence can withstand or adapt to the changing landscape of search and social. So as you can see, one of the core fundamentals of the definition is obviously the proven methodology that's been put together, a framework that's been put together, And there's two very important components to adaptive SEO. There's search and there's obviously social. So there's a lot of focus on social as well that we'll go through. Okay, so what are some of the benefits of adaptive SEO? I'll try and encapsulate some of the benefits in a nutshell so that this way you can again position this to the prospects and they understand what the benefits are. The first benefit for adaptive SEO is that it's going to improve your organic rankings because you're also focusing on social signals with all of your campaigns. Google's made no secret of the fact that they're looking at Google Plus very closely in terms of giving us a benefit when it comes to the organic rankings. It's all about visibility. It's all about credibility. They want to rank a site high, not because the site's building a lot of links or the site's doing their on-page optimization high. Yes, these are all important factors. But what they want to do is that they actually want to combine these factors with your online credibility as well. How credible are you? Do you have a reputable identity on the internet? That's what they want to combine with, and then establish your ranking in the search engines. So that's where social signals come into play. Adaptive SEO focuses a lot on social signals. Social media, and it's all about engagement. And by combining SEO and social media, you can increase your engagement scores so that more and more people can reach you online. And that's really what marketing is all about. Marketing's all about reaching as many people as you can. The goal for adaptive SEO is to increase the awareness of who you are, what you stand for, and what you credibility overall. Adaptive SEO also helps you measure social media ROI. And this has been a very debatable topic. It's always been very difficult to measure social media ROI. Companies talk about it, but it's really tough to kind of give it sort of like black and white metrics and show you how social media is working for you. But now, utilizing adaptive SEO, you're combining SEO and social media that makes it possible for you to develop an appropriate metrics. Whether the metrics are impressions, the traffic, social media engagement, you can come up with those KPIs with your client. There's obviously increased trust in digital footprint. The goal of adaptive SEO is to increase trust with your audience, with your community that you're interacting with, and establish your visibility online. There's real-time community management because you're managing your community, your visitors, your clients, your customers on a real-time basis, utilizing social media. Increased conversions. Because of all this interaction, you'll get the benefit of increased conversions. And last but not the least, you also have the impact of an increased transparency for your brand. So there's 5 distinct tiers that adaptive SEO is broken down, and this is what forms the whole aspect of the WSI Adaptive SEO methodology. So if you're looking at my screen right now, there's these 5 pillars start with keyword and competitive research that forms about 25% of the overall focus of the methodology, followed by technical SEO, which is about 15%. And then as you can see, one of the main areas of focus for adaptive SEO is the optimized content marketing plan. And that's where 45% of the focus is established, and that's primarily to do with the hummingbird and the panda updates that talk about freshness of your content, and that's the reason why 45% of the focus for adaptive SEO is in the whole aspect of optimized content marketing and planning, followed by publicizing your content, socializing, and then sharing of your content, because social signals do matter at the end of the day. That's about 10%. And then you have a reporting component at the top of this tier, which forms about 5% of the overall methodology. So there's 5 distinct tiers to adaptive SEO, and let's go through these tiers one by one. So the first, the most important, the foundational tier when it comes to adaptive SEO is the keyword and competitive research, and this forms about 25% of the adaptive SEO methodology. It is effective keyword and competitive research. In our experience with WSI ALM, it is so important to choose the right keywords for your campaign. Otherwise, you would essentially be fighting a losing battle. There is no point going after really competitive keywords or tough keywords to rank for straight off the bat without even establishing some sort of credibility with Google, because it's going to be really tough to beat your competition. So it's very important that you choose the right mix of competitive keywords. There's at WSI ALM, we always look at what a client's potentially ranking for, and then we take a mix of the low-hanging fruit. So let's say If you have a lot of keywords that are ranking between 11 and 20, that means in the second page of Google, then our goal is to get these keywords and bump them up into the top 5 or the top 3 positions, because there's a lot of research out there that's shown that when you're ranking first for a particular keyword search organically, you're getting about 20% of the click-throughs when it comes to total impressions for that keyword. As you go down the rankings, your percentage of clicks for that particular keyword keep going lower and lower, to the extent where if you're ranking 10 for a particular keyword, you're only getting about 2% of the click-throughs for the number of impressions associated with that particular keyword. So as you can see, it's a pretty drastic drop, 20% to 2%. And then when you start talking about the second page, which is position 11 to 20, it's even lower. So when you're doing keyword research, the goal is that if you see that there's low-hanging fruit, there's easy opportunities out there that you can capitalize on for your client, if they're position 11 to 20, then the idea is focus on those keywords first so that you can bump them up in the top 3 or the top 5 and start getting traction for your client in terms of more traffic and more conversions. Choose long-tail phrases. There's no point going after single-worded keywords if they're very, very competitive. If the client's got the budget and that's what they're looking for, that's a different strategy and a different ballgame altogether. But if you have working with, then you have to focus on getting a right mix of high competitive, mid competitive, and low competitive keywords so you can show traction to a client on a month-to-month basis. There's no point for a client looking at a report every month and seeing that they are not ranking because the keywords that you chose were very competitive. And if they don't see rankings getting better on a month-to-month basis, it just doesn't go down very well when you're discussing your monthly reports. Some of the tools that WSI ALM uses as far as their keyword and competitive research is concerned includes the SEMrush tool. SEMrush is a great tool because you don't need to know keywords. All you really need to do is just type in the website, and it's actually going to show you all the keywords that particular website is ranking for. So it's a great competitive tool because you can actually see what your competition is ranking for and what kind of search share that competition is getting. There's the Moz toolset. Moz toolset's great. It's got some great on-page tools in there for research. It's got the Open Site Explorer. That's a very powerful tool for link research, competitive link analysis. We use the Google Keyword tool for keyword research. There's Google Trends, and of course, there's G-Shift as well. So these are some of the tools that we use for adaptive and for keyword and competitive research for Tier 1. When you move on to Tier 2, you're basically talking about the SEO, technical SEO fundamentals and the foundation that you need to take care of. And this includes things that are directly associated with the website on the website itself. Things like setting up, a robots.txt file property, a 301 redirects, your sitemap, your title tags. Another important aspect of taking care of the foundations is the configuration of your blog presence. Your social accounts, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, making sure everything's all synced in properly. You can utilize a tool like Hootsuite so that everything is synced in with one account, and when you're pushing content, it's a lot easier for you to push that content out there. We want to make sure that the implementation of social sharing icons takes place so that the social sharing icons are visible on your website, easily shareable, clickable. The technical SEO and foundational element, the Tier 2 for adaptive SEO, also takes into account the backlinking part of it. Now, this is ongoing. This is not like a one-time activity, but the backlinking does form a very important aspect of technical SEO. We want to make sure that we're getting you good quality industry links, good quality local directories, setting up your Google places so as to make sure that your local search is maximized, understanding web page load time. This is very important as well, as Google's mentioned that load time is becoming a very, very important factor when it comes to ranking your website. So we want to look at your load time and make sure that that is optimized and maximized. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just a small sample of some of the work that goes on with regards to Tier 2. Moving on to Tier 3. So Tier 3 is all about the optimized content marketing plan. And as I mentioned to you earlier, if you look at the overall pyramid for adaptive SEO, Tier 3 forms 45% of all the work that goes into adaptive SEO. And that's primarily because all of the recent updates for Google that are taking place are focusing on one thing, and that is freshness. Google wants to see good quality content. Google wants to see a lot of content that's coming out there. Google wants to see a site that's regularly updated with new content so that they can push that content out there and rank it high. So the optimized content marketing plan that forms Tier 3 for Adaptive SEO takes care of the freshness aspect. Now, it takes care of the Panda updates because, again, when you have optimized content that's distributed to valid, reliable sources across the board, it's building strong backlinks, and all the backlinks are not coming from one particular source. Like, you know, if all your links are coming in from directories, or if all your links are coming in from social bookmarking, that's bound to raise flags. So with this optimized content distribution, what it's doing is that it's spreading your content across the board so that you're getting links from a diversified set of sources, and that's exactly what Google's looking for. Strengthening your Google Plus profile. Again, Google's made no secret of the fact that Google Plus is playing a very important part when it comes to ranking your site high. Adaptive SEO focuses on Google Plus. There's a lot of content updates that take place in Google Plus, social networks, strengthening your association with reputable people in your industry in Google Plus. So we want to strengthen Google Plus so that this in turn is going to impact your overall organic rankings. Search plus your world, which essentially means that when you share content publicly in Google Plus, it has a broader reach and a longer life than the other social networking platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. So we definitely want to make sure we want to take advantage of Google Plus. Moving on to Tier 4. Tier 4 is all about publishing your content, socializing, and sharing your content. So we utilize your corporate website and your blog as a starting point and a repository for all your content. That's the whole purpose with Adaptive SEO, is to use your site as a repository for all the content. You know, if the content's a blog post, then you publish it to the industry-specific sites. If the content's a PR, then we look at industry-leading news wires like PR Web or MarketWire, and that's how we push press releases out there. Pushing your content through social channels that include LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And also tapping into your subscribers and client base via email marketing. The whole idea behind email marketing is to take advantage of this particular activity that has the highest conversion rate when it comes to your business. Email marketing is proven to be the highest conversion rate across all the marketing sources that you can use. Some of the goals accomplished with publicizing, socializing, and sharing your content is, again, you're building good backlinks, good diversified set of backlinks, which is what Google's looking for. Google's indexing your content a lot faster, which is always good. You're creating social signals. That's, again, very important for Google. That's what they're looking for. And this is also the beginnings of a sales conversation with your prospects. You want to make sure that you're connecting with your prospects at the different stages of the buying cycle. So that's where publishing your relevant content, socializing, and sharing your content comes into play. The last tier of Adaptive SEO, which is Tier 5, is all about measuring and improving. This is where you define the KPIs on how to measure the success of an SEO campaign, and this can be in the form of impressions or traffic. It can be in the form of conversions. It can be in the form of social signals, whether it's and as well as backlinks and your keyword ranks on a month-to-month basis. It's very difficult to show a client increases in their performance with organic traffic on a month-to-month basis. That's challenging at times because we all know organic traffic fluctuates. There's a lot of aspects that are associated with organic traffic. There's seasonality as well. So one of the ways in which you can show consistent work for a particular client is the keyword rank. Now, the keyword rank has been losing a certain amount of relevancy primarily because of Google's personalization coming into place. Everybody's seeing different ranks, the different ways in which the search engine results for the first page are being reconfigured based on your preferences. But it still is a very strong metric because there's ways to check what the rankings are going to be in case it's a non-personalized search. So it's a good indicator of how Google's treating your content. Because if you do see your keyword ranks going up on a month-to-month basis when you're doing non-personalized keyword rank checks, then you do know that Google's favoring your content, they're liking the content they're seeing, and they're rewarding you with higher and higher rankings. So these 5 tiers form the main basis as far as the adaptive SEO methodology is concerned. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on WSI ALM's adaptive SEO packages. So the way that the consortium has actually broken down the packages is that there's 4 different levels that you can opt in for. It starts with the bronze, then goes on to the silver and the gold, and the top level is a platinum. Now, if you do have a client that's got more of a budget beyond the platinum, then you can always look at a custom solution. But as far as the adaptive SEO packages are concerned, there are 4 packages that are available: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. All of these adaptive SEO packages encompass the entire complete methodology of the adaptive SEO pyramid, and they offer you the flexibility of whichever package you want to choose from. So when WSI ALM was deciding on the pricing for the adaptive SEO packages, we want to establish ourselves as a production center or as a supplier, but you can have the highest markups. And then, of course, we're in this for profitability as well, and the way that we want to make a profitability is based on volumes, which is the reason why I'm very pleased to announce that in the first batch of suppliers that has been certified, WSI ALM is the lowest cost supplier that's providing the adaptive SEO solutions to EICs. Our broad package is starting at $300 a month, the silver at $550 a month, the gold at $800 a month, and the platinum at $1,100 a month. And this is the lowest cost solution for an IC. And the whole premise behind this is so as to give you enough room for markup, so that at the end of the day, you're enjoying your work. Because if you're not making money, then you're not really enjoying what you're doing. I mean, if you're doing it for experience, great. But at the end of the day, you've invested in the WSI franchise, you want to make money out of it. So the whole goal is to give you enough room, enough markup for profitability, so you have enough time to spend on your client's campaign or your prospect's campaign and look at it and make a difference for that campaign. Now, let's understand some of the deliverables that are associated with each of these tiers. So when you're looking at Tier 1 competitive and keyword research, some of the deliverables that are included are, there's a certain number of pages that's getting optimized for each of the sites. There's keyword research, there's keyword suggestions, creation of Google alerts, creation of goals. That's a very important activity. WC3 compliance validation. We want to make sure that the site's coded correctly, properly. Page load time analysis, because we know Google's giving a lot of attention to that. We want to make sure that your Google Analytics is set up, your Webmaster Console is set up, both Google and Bing. And then, of course, we want to check any site errors for errors, etc. So this is what Tier 1 consists of, some of the deliverables and how they look like when it comes to Tier 1. Moving on to Tier 2, and you have more of the technical SEO fundamentals that are covered in Tier 2. So if your site's associated with and is appropriate for schema optimization, we want to take care of that because Google is tending to prefer that. And they're displaying sites and schema optimized sites better when it comes to the kind of information that they're putting out there. If you're a restaurant site, then they want to show your menu, they want to show your ratings, etc. Open graph tag creation and implementation. This is important for Facebook and other social media properties. We want to cover your local listings, so it's Google, Yahoo, and Bing. We want to make sure we cover these local listings so you have a strong local foundation. And then, of course, all of the on-page SEO, things like your meta tags, your title tags, your header tags, your image tags. As mentioned, we want to take care of your social sharing, so we want to make sure the social sharing icons are implemented properly on your website, your sitemap creation, robots.txt, and we want to set up Google authorship for your blog because it's all about identity, it's all about reputation online, so we want to make sure that we start building and establishing a reputation for you and your brand and associate your brand with your profile. So this is Tier 2, some of the deliverables associated with Tier 2. Moving on to Tier 3, this is where the optimized content marketing plan comes into play and is about 45% of adaptive SEO's focus because we want to push out good content, good quality content out there on a monthly basis. There's 4 kinds of content pieces that are going to be pushed out through Adaptive SEO. There's blogs, there's press releases, there's articles, and there's infographics. There's also a content plan strategy that's created at the beginning of the Adaptive SEO plan, so that this way you and the client has a good idea of how we'd be proceeding as far as the content marketing for Adaptive SEO is concerned. There's also customer reviews and testimonials that we want to keep incorporating in this methodology so as to get good validation from all the work that's taking place. The way that you're servicing, the clients are servicing their end clients, right? The amount of work varies depending on the package. So the bronze obviously has the lowest amount of work, and then followed by the platinum, which has the highest amount of work. So the number of blogs, the number of press releases, the number of articles, and the number of infographics that are getting created really varies depending on what package you're going in for. The fourth tier, which is all about publishing, socializing, and sharing, consists of a combination of social and link building. So that here's where the industry directory submissions, social bookmarking, blog directory submissions, peer syndications, and your local citations come into play. Now, WSI, the consortium at Adaptive SEO, has certified the article syndication activity as well. But for WSI ALM, it's been a big question mark, because in the past we saw a lot of challenges when we were doing article syndication, and we've seen a lot of sites for our competitors get penalized with this particular activity. So at WSI ALM, we do not do any sort of article syndication, so this is not a part of our activity for Tier 4. But it is a WSI Adaptive SEO consortium certified activity that you can potentially engage in, but WSI ALM does not, just because we want to play it extra safe. And we haven't seen this activity bode well with the search engines. The fifth tier is analytics and reporting. So there's the website analysis that's provided to you, combined with the competitor, as well as the site recommendations that's provided to you. We also look at your domain's link profile, utilizing tools like Open Site Explorer and G-Shift. So we look at your domain's link profile just to understand it, make sure that it's all clean and it's getting good links on a month-to-month basis. And all of this is encapsulated by a monthly activity report that's produced by the G-Shift tool, and that's going to again form the foundation for all the reporting that's taking place with Adaptive SEO, which is the monthly activity report that's going to be put out by G-Shift's software that is going to be presented to you, and then you can have a discussion with them and your clients. These are kind of like the 5 tiers and some of the deliverables that are associated with these five tiers for Adaptive SEO. Now, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on adaptive and traditional SEO. Hopefully, this graphics puts a smile on your face. One size does not fit all. Adaptive SEO does not fit every single prospect and every single client out there. The main differentiator, I'd say, on when you should offer traditional SEO and when you should offer adaptive SEO really comes down to the budget. You as the IC should really be pushing for adaptive SEO, because this gives you a competitive edge, because nobody else has a solution that's similar to adaptive SEO following this sort of like tiered methodology. Nobody else has a solution like this out there when it comes to SEO. So if you're competing with local SEO consultants or local SEO companies for business, everybody's going to be pitching traditional SEO. So when you come in with adaptive SEO, you have 2 advantages to it. Number 1 is that you're coming up and you're positioning yourself differently. So the prospect's going to look at you differently because nobody else has a solution like you do. Because everybody's saying, yeah, we do accommodate Google's algorithm changes. All of our work is Google friendly, but nobody's really got a uniform methodology out there so as to prove to a customer and show them visually as to what this really means, whereas you do with adaptive SEO. So that's your one unique advantage, your benefit out there, is that you utilizing adaptive SEO, you position yourself differently from all the other competitors. The second advantage to adaptive SEO is that because of the methodology that's being followed, you can potentially command a little bit of a higher price, a little bit of a premium for the solution, because you're educating the client on why adaptive SEO is beneficial for them. Because if they do go with the traditional SEO with any of their competitors, if their site does get banned or penalized, that's going to lead to a more of a revenue loss than them paying you a little bit of more money and having the peace of mind that the solution is Adaptive SEO certified and is Google friendly, and plus all of the other benefits that come along with Adaptive SEO. Only in instances where budget is an issue, I feel you should be pushing out traditional SEO because our traditional SEO, our local packages start at $150 a month, our foundational starts at $250 a month. That's really where the budget question comes into play. So if your client really cannot afford Adaptive SEO, the solutions start at $300 a month. So let's say even if you're marking it up times 2 or times 3, which is what we recommend. So that means you're selling our Adaptive SEO bronze package between $600 and $900 a month. If that is too high for an end prospect, is when you position the traditional SEO out there, which is $150. So I mean that can be positioned anywhere from $300 to $450, right? So that's where you position traditional SEO. But in all practical purposes, you should be pushing Adaptive SEO out there because this gives you that competitive edge that you're looking for. Great. Again, I hope this session's been helpful for you and cleared the air about Adaptive SEO. In the coming weeks, days, we would be doing a lot more presentations on Adaptive SEO because it is a relatively new concept, and we want to make sure that you are well educated on this, armed with all of the information. So if you do have any questions when it comes to Adaptive SEO or any of our packages, please feel free to send us an email at info@wsialm.com, or you can also get in touch with Armando at wsialm.com. If you want to set up a one-on-one consultation with you or your team as far as Adaptive SEO is concerned, we can definitely do that as well, or just a one-on-one consultation with you because you have some specific questions about Adaptive SEO. Please feel free to get in touch with us. You can, again, reach us at either info@wsialm.com or armando@wsialm.com, or just call our toll-free call center, which is 1-877-871-0497. It is 24 hours, so you can leave a message, and one of our executives is going to get in touch with you as soon as possible. Again, we at WSI ALM are very excited to be bringing Adaptive SEO to the ICs. This is going to make a big difference. We hope this makes a big difference in terms of your sales and your revenue and positioning you differently from the other competitors. And we work very closely with you, the ICs, to ensure that we deliver for your clients. So thanks everybody for attending this special session on Adaptive SEO, and stay tuned for another session on Adaptive SEO very soon. Great, thanks everyone. Bye.